Hello and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews. It's Gaming Friday. I'm Gary.
I'm Geoff.
And once again, we're joined by Adrian. And today we are going to take a look at Titanfall 2, which came out just earlier in the year, October of 2016. And as we know, this is the sequel to Titanfall, which was an Xbox One exclusive. But now Titanfall 2 is available on the PS4 and on the PC.
Cool.
So I was a huge fan of Titanfall 1.
Yeah.
I got it on release day. I played it a fair amount and then sort of had connection issues, and then I went off and played Dark Souls 2 because it had the unfortunate timing of coming out on the exact same day. So
Yeah.
Titanfall kind of lost out. But once I was done with Dark Souls, I was straight back onto Titanfall, and it became my multiplayer game of the year,
You
without
really
a doubt.
Titanfall, didn't you?
I played Titanfall 1 to its absolute completion, and that's something I'm going to get into with Titanfall 2's sort of completion sort of chart, if you will, when it comes to achievements and progression.
Yeah.
But obviously the big difference with Titanfall 2 is the feature that everyone has talked about and praised is the addition of a single player campaign.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
And I was kind of skeptical that they were going to incorporate it, although it seemed like that's what everyone wanted from the original game. But even though I went out and bought that game, like I said, on day one, because I knew I was buying a multiplayer game.
Yeah.
And strength was built upon that. And I knew it was also a very small team. We know it's Respawn Entertainment that used to make the Call of Duty games before they left, and and formed Respawn and made Titanfall.
Yeah.
I had faith in their skills at making a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
And it also seems like Call of Duty, their previous company, has done everything they can to emulate what Titanfall did really well.
Yeah.
And that is the sort of parkour, zip lining, wall running, hip firing,
it's still not
super
as
speed
good. Still not as
mechanic.
good. It's just bolted on in Call of Duty. In this, the first game it felt great.
This
still feels great, yeah.
It's got like an old school, like unrealistic physics kind of feel to it, but it's super slick, super
But,
smooth,
it's
super
polished.
fast. Yeah.
It doesn't feel clunky. It just moves nicely.
It just works, and it works the way you want it to, and you feel like you're an absolute badass as you're running around, wall running, doing like grabbing up ledges and just pulling yourself right up into like really tall places.
Definitely playing that first one with that gameplay.
Double
I wanted
jumping.
the campaign. It's like, and I got in late. I mean, you got in day one. You had connection issues and stuff, and like. I picked up about that year later when I think Xbox Live did it for a tenner for the deluxe version that had everything, had Frontier Defense, all of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll get it now. I'll check this out. And it was great, but it's just like, it needed a campaign.
Well, I mean, that was one thing, is that it didn't...
Well,
it
I just
sold
felt,
well enough.
Yeah, I mean,
but
I felt
they really
sad,
dropped the price on it very quickly, and the season
but
pass
the
they dropped
universe
very
built,
quickly.
it was like I felt sad that I didn't know more about what was going on, and the campaign was very like obviously it was just multiplayer.
Each campaign was a multiplayer level.
And
yeah,
it was like, okay, I get it, you're going that route, fine, but it was just you weren't getting a nice narrative with, which shame. I wanted to see I don't know, robots fight those monsters who are on levels and those flying things and stuff, and they kind of did with this.
I thought it was they very much so created this idea of the frontier planets, the militia struggling against the IMC.
Do you want to know more?
Do you want to know more? And there are, you hear all these audio bits. You never actually seem to meet any of the characters that were in Titanfall 1. You just sort of heard about them in the background. And so even when what seemed like a main character was making his noble sacrifice, it was like, who was it? What did they do? What are we doing here? I don't know. Did we win? Okay, let's go to multiplayer. Who knows? But I absolutely love Titanfall 1, and I didn't mind it not having the campaign. So let's review the campaign for this game, and I have to say it's very short. Even though everyone's praising the campaign, it's very short. It can be. I completed it on its hardest difficulty setting in about 6-7 hours.
Yeah, too short.
And I have to say,
it's Modern Warfare 2 syndrome. It was
a breeze just to play through.
Yeah,
So Geoff, you are at the controls right now.
Yeah, I haven't played it yet. So
You've just abandoned the
Adrian?
single player.
yeah, well, I did the new game, and now the select game is gone. So if you do a new game, that's bad.
I did
apparently.
notice that. Yeah, damn, it looks like it's reset the mission select, which is annoying.
Which is annoying. So yeah, just going for the so you can customize your pilot. You got a fair old few customization options here.
That is one thing that is, I don't know if anyone else watching this video suffers from OCD gaming, and that is and this game is one of the biggest culprits for it. And that is, as soon as you after every multiplayer match, you seem to unlock something, and it'll be a random skin or a random upgrade on a different weapon on one of your loadouts, and so you'll come back to your main screen and you'll just have all these different blinking lights, and then to go and find that blinking light, you have to go through 7 to 9 pages to try and find which one it is. And
is it just me, or is the menu system like nowhere near as nice as on the first one?
I think the menu system's just fine. Yeah, I think it's pretty easy to find all of the overview. To go to what I do find irritating is all of the different pages of skins and customization. And I know it's something that we all complained about.
Skins enough to go through 7 pages to find out what it was. I'm just deleting that. It's like Battlefield. Like I've scrapped so many battle skins to try and get something else, and just whatever. I just don't get the skins still.
So anyway, going back to the campaign, I found it very short, even on its hardest difficulty. And I have to say that for a hard difficulty, it felt like normal mode for every other game that I have played. But pros for the campaign, even though it's very short.
It's too short, but it's great.
I
loved it.
Great. It absolutely is. There is enough variety in the levels and in the environments, and if you want to be really cynical, you could just say that this is an extended tutorial for the multiplayer.
Sure. Yeah.
Because every level's design is designed like a multiplayer level, and so it just. And every level you do find a whole new Titan upgrade or a Titan loadout.
Yeah.
And so basically they did away with Titanfall 1 where you at least had 3 chassis and you could sort of customize the weapons and loadouts that you wanted. In this game, you have your core Titans.
Change it.
And you...
Is that the invert?
Yeah.
Terrible, Geoff. Terrible.
Excellent.
And
Can't
so...
If I'm in a plane, yes.
You look
but
like
when I'm shooting...
You look like you're playing it drunk.
It's got to be done. I'm dead.
You can't. So, I don't like the fact that you have all these loadouts for the Titan in the campaign, which does get you used to the multiplayer, because in the multiplayer you cannot customize your Titan. You have each one of those specific loadouts near enough.
I did think they would do that, yeah. I thought it was cool to be able to do it in campaign, but yeah, I kind of guess they would like make you choose.
Yeah, well,
just having that jack of all trades quick switch ability would just be everywhere. It would just be insane.
Well, I don't necessarily mean have that ability in multiplayer,
sure,
but in multiplayer to be able to have your custom Titan with the custom loadout of weapons, but the game won't let you mix and match which weapons you want to use on your Titan. It's like if you want to be the the fusion one, sort of, or
if I want to use cool lock-on missiles, I can't use.
You can't use it on that Titan type.
I see. So if you could cherry pick, that would be amazing. Yeah.
But it's to remove the kind of, so you take the best of everything and then put it on one mech. Yeah. It kind of reduces that, which it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, it's one of the few bugbears. Go back to the campaign again. I like the bosses. I like the villains. I like the fact that you have to fight other Titans as well as other foot soldiers. I like the fact that it is varied, that you are sometimes fighting in your mech, which is BT, and sometimes you're fighting on foot. It's a little bit contrived in areas where you're like, oh, I have to go on foot because, no spoilers, but because story says so. But the game does introduce a very cool dynamic, sort of at the 3/4 of the way mark through the game, which I really didn't see coming, and it involves time travel. And
I mean, before we get that, I mean, I think I'd just like to talk about how it progresses, because I picked this up, turned it on, and it looked great, and it sort of played lovely, and it still felt that awesome Battlefield Titanfall feel, but I was saying earlier to you, Gary, it was like it started off kind of okay. I expected this. Fair enough. This feels kind of what I thought they might do with Titanfall. Okay, as a campaign, and then gradually they started really playing with the levels, doing something cool. Like that first, I think, before the time one, it's like, you know, the construction of the houses, and you're going through this maze of like conveyor belts, you're fighting guys, and it's all very sci-fi factory, and gradually these things are getting, you know, furniture put in them, and, you know, and they start, you know, turning into platforms, and then they start going on the side, turning upside down, and you're having to jump in between all of these things.
It is like a massive conveyor belt factory.
It's brilliant, yeah. Like I say, it's, you
because
know,
the walls and ceilings and furniture is all being moved around in different
switching
directions.
your angle of perception, like every sort of,
so you kind of wall running,
so.
ceiling running.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
and then they elaborate on that later. Of course, you know, we'll probably talk about it in say with the timeline, but it was like, okay, they're really doing something cool with this. There was some generic-y, I thought this is what they would put in, but then they really just played with it and just went for really cool stuff. And then, you know, this house conveyor belt eventually turning into the end arena where there's just like a test lab. Oh, and you've gone through the conveyor and you've just been spat out into this pre-made death chamber. And it's like, that is cool. I think I went, fuck yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, totally behind it. I breezed through the game, and I did it in pretty much 2 sittings, like I said, and I didn't want to stop as I was playing it. And one of the big attractions I did have to the game was the sort of growing relationship that your character, Jack Cooper, who is an infantry soldier who always wants to be a pilot, piloting a mech, and lo and behold, 20 minutes into the game, you are piloting a mech. But it's the relationship that you have with it through the game's dialogue. And
one of the quickest mentor deaths I've seen in a long while as well. It's just sorry to interrupt you. It was okay. I'm not fucking around.
So you kind of form this bond with this mech, because as we had in Titanfall 1, all of these mechs have sort of small personalities. And I liked in the expansion of the original game where you could sort of have the different nationalities to each of the Titans. So in this one, within this universe, we figure out that each of the mech has sort of an AI within it that has its own personality. And as you go on operations with that AI, your combat effectiveness gets increased. And so I kind of like that. And like I said, I like the dialogue between it. And one thing that caught me by surprise playing the game is that there are multiple dialogue options when talking to your mech, BT.
Cool.
And it kind of ranges between sort of funny and sarcastic, or serious and witty.
Yeah, it was cool.
And it doesn't make any impact on the game whatsoever, but it's just kind of a, how do you want to respond?
Yeah.
And so it's not necessary. It was kind of
Still sick.
But it's still really nice.
You're still choosing like an alternate conversation path, which was, they didn't have to do that. And it was like, okay,
it could have just all been pre-scripted. And so getting to my favorite level within the game was a time travel level. You have a device which sort of turns back time a considerable amount.
Yeah, and I mean, when I lent you this game, and I was like, sort of saying, you know, like I said pretty much what I said a minute ago, you know, it ramps up from what you would expect to something cool, and then I was like, I wanted to tell you, but I was like, no, I'm just like, I mean, spoilers if you're listening to this, but I was just, didn't expect that. I was like, I think I said to you, I was like, they're not going to do this, are they? And they're, oh shit, yeah, they are, and it was great, and I was like, I didn't want to say a thing, I was just like, play this game, it's quite cool.
So I'm just going to say it, you're given control of that device, and so you can switch time back and forth on a dime, of a push of a button, you can keep doing it. But the thing
right
is,
on your wrist, just a little time travel.
Yeah, you'll be fighting enemies in the past and in the present.
Oh, no.
And so you'll be sort of moving into position, into cover, trying to deal with enemies at both timelines. So you can sort of try and prioritize clearing out one timeline so that you can go back to that time to recover a little bit.
You know,
before
I've jumped in,
I've
shot a guard in the face with a shotgun, my last shotgun round, so I'm like, shit, I need to reload. So I jump back to like the present wrecked room, and I forgot there's like 4 weird alien dogs ready to tear my face off, so I'm jogging them while I'm trying to reload to get back to the other timeline. That was, oh man.
That's right. The animals that exist on this planet that you end up on in the game Very similar to the ones, if not the same as the ones we saw in Titanfall 1.
Yeah, it's
and
cool. They look similar.
they are
at least, yeah.
very hostile.
Yeah.
And they're vicious as well, and they're actually some of my favourite AI in the game, because the AI of the troops is not very good. I'll be honest, but of course on the harder difficulty they tend to immediately know where you are, and can shoot at you from anywhere across the map.
Yeah.
But so long as you do what the game really wants you to do, and that is to move super fast, to wall run, to keep yourself moving, because as soon as you slow down or you stop in this game, you're gonna get killed, and then that really translates into the multiplayer as well.
Definitely.
Now, I played the open alpha betas for Titanfall 2, and I loved it then. Straight away, I was like, it's everything I wanted and more. It's more Titanfall. Great.
I saw the feedback.
And the feedback was overwhelmingly negative.
Did they tweak that? Because I didn't play the beta, and I heard about the whole...
Everyone criticised that it was too slow.
Because of kill. Well, yeah, okay, that. But then there was also how they changed the Titan build, like... how it was becoming a bit more of a kill streak reward rather than everyone kind of getting their chance in it.
I didn't really notice that too much.
Right.
I kind of felt like it's depending on which game mode you're playing. Obviously, you can go around and kill grunts and things like inverted controls. Going back again here.
Yeah.
Of course, you can get depending on which game mode you're playing, like attrition or not. You can kill whether you're killing pilots or whether you're killing grunts or specters or hitting bounties. On the map will depend on how quickly you get to call your Titan into battle. I played a game just before recording this video, and I managed to call my Titan in about 4 times in a single fight. So I know you're saying, oh, you're terrible, your Titans keep getting destroyed, but yes, it's true, but I kept calling it back in because I kept killing more pilots.
Your
and doing
Titans
more.
get destroyed anyway much more frequently in this because they don't have shields, do they?
Yes, they do have shields. Yes, they have a
buff.
protective shield. And you can also move away to get your shield to come back up. Your health will not regenerate. Interestingly, in this one, in Titanfall 1, you could rodeo Titans and pull out their power cores and drop grenades in them and do devastating damage. In this one, you sort of do the same, but this time you actually pull out a physical power core. Yeah. And you can run off with it and then put it in your own Titan or in one of your teammates' Titans to heal them back.
Yeah, yeah.
But of course, obviously, you want to be careful of people stealing your power cells. Quite a lot of the weapons are back. Like some of my anti-pilot countermeasures on the Titan, like the electronic smoke is still there. It's one of my favorites to use. Vast array of weapons and new weapons, from minefields to flamethrowers.
Do they all make sense? The weapons? Do they have a place?
They all have a place, and they all have different places on different situations on the map. Yeah. And so I know some people will tend to stick to some, but it really does come down to playing as one class for a while and mastering it and seeing where it works best for you. And then, of course, the more you play as a certain types, you will unlock better weapons or faster unlocks for those classes or those mechs.
Yeah. So the real question is, since EA brought this out at a period of time when it's got hot competition, you know, Call of Duty and Battlefield either side of it. Yeah. Why would you buy this game over those games? What makes this? Why is this really a must buy?
This game is a must buy over the others for me because they have no season pass. Yeah. They have said that there will be no maps that you have to pay for as an expansion. I mean, I played Titanfall 1 and all of its season pass maps. A lot of people went back to it when they were cheap. Yeah. I don't know whether they paid attention to that and went, we can keep our players if we make the extra maps free for everyone. Plus, you also don't split your gaming community, which I think they would be... I think that's happening more and more, where gaming groups are getting split up by not being able to play these new maps. Gears of War handled that very well when they've released 2 new maps and they're sort of in the circulation of maps.
Because one of the things I really enjoyed about the first one was the Horde mode. And that's not actually a part of this yet. But
that was a free addition to that game.
That's it. If you get it, you will have the Horde mode and it will be yours when you do get it. So, I mean, I will get this game.
Yeah, totally.
Because they're just going to keep adding more content to it. Now, I was almost also going to say
You see,
another
like I said,
reason.
sorry, earlier, like I was lucky enough to get it with everything, all the bells and whistles by the time I picked it up, and it was like it felt a shame that they didn't feel like putting Frontier Defense from launch
With this game,
was, you know, I
A
think I
horde
guess
mode,
it would take
yeah.
time away from the rest of the game, fine, and like you say, I think pretty sure they will bring it out for free as well, and I really hope they do it again, 'cause that really hooked me into it. You know, multiplayer is not so much my thing. I mean, I'm almost 34 now, and it's like my Twitch skills just aren't there anymore. So I'll play a bit of this.
well, that's
I'll
the
even
other.
get slaughtered. It's like when I play pool, it's like I'll get slaughtered or I'll do reasonably okay. And
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
but yeah, it's I
For
can't
me,
wait. I
it's-
think what they're doing is great, and I think they deserve a salute for not towing the company line and like going for those. You know, get the season pass out, sell it that way, and let your game speak for yourself. And I think it's gonna do that. You know, it's I think they, like I say, I feel EA launched this in spite against its other game, just to say, all right, you're not gonna toe the line. It's like you say, you were saying about season passes for Gears of War last time, and it was just if you're buying it, you're part of the problem. But like these guys just straight up say, well, no, whatever we do, we're going to give it to you for free, and we're not going to split you all up. And it's like, that's cool, man. That's, old school, back to being decent gaming and stuff, and not rinsing it for that, like, 120 quid all in if you bought everything deluxe season pass, not naming any names, but, it's like, oh, man, seriously?
See, you've been playing Battlefield 1 as well at the same time,
Yeah.
so what do you think? Like, between these two games, which are you enjoying the most?
You see, I love the campaign aspect of this, and once they bring Frontier Defense, loving it. I do enjoy a bit of multiplayer. I haven't played enough of this yet. I sort of lent it to Gary and haven't picked it up since, so I've been rinsing Battlefield 1 for a while as well. But like I said, I think my reactions aren't quite there these days, so Battlefield 1 has that slower pace, but it also has its epic scale and stuff like that. So I do enjoy this to an extent, but it is quite a lot of energy when I play this now. It's like, I just got to be on it all the time, and sometimes I get some sweet kill streaks and doing like I said, like the pool analogy, like I can either sink every ball or like nothing's going in. It's like, and but at the moment I do really enjoy Battlefield 1 as well, but this campaign wise this was great. I thought this was Battlefield 1's campaign was okay, it did some okay stuff, but again that was way too short. This was too short as well, but it was a hell of a better, more interesting, really punch the air sort of campaign game to play, and I really enjoyed it. And I hope to get back into the multiplayer a little bit, and definitely when they get the horde back on. So
I suppose the real answer is get both, because if you love both, then you get both. But
I mean I still don't appreciate the season pass aspect of Battlefield 1. They are gonna at the moment it's like sweet, and all my mates. We pick it up, we played Battlefield Bad Company 2 and it all came out, and we had 8 of us regularly on for about 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month after we launched. They're quite, short attention span, so they would move on, but it's that sweet spot at the moment where we're all regularly playing it. But eventually, it's going to splinter us up, because some of us may caving at the season pass. I don't see myself caving. They're going to release some big free maps here and there, a bit like Battlefront did, sort of community free maps and stuff, but I don't know. At the moment, I wouldn't pay that. What is it? 40 quid for it?
It's usually about 40 quid for a season pass.
They kicked it to 40
now,
haven't
there
they?
is actually a digital deluxe edition for Titanfall 2, which I would say absolutely do not buy, because all you're getting is extra skins, really.
God.
It's like, why do you need these extra skins? And as I've already said, there is a ridiculous amount of skins to unlock in this game, and a lot of them are pretty ugly and don't really seem to have that much effect. And I was going to praise this game for not having microtransactions, but boy, I was wrong. I found them. This game has a store, and it is selling camouflage or camo packs or whatever for money.
I think I've read an article about that. Yeah, they were sort of saying, they're not going to do season pass, salute to that, but it was like, I think there is still that customer-based market, and maybe, still part of towing the line that they have to, that want to and will pay for it, and it's like still part of the problem. Stop buying this shit.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, I kind of felt they had to cave a little bit there, and like I like how it's not intrusive. Is any of the stuff you can buy like, you know, game breaking or like, you know, I don't think you can buy
you
better
can't.
weapons or anything.
No,
can you?
that's
just
correct.
So you know they haven't broken
not
it
as
that
bad.
way. No, but yeah, it was a shame to still see them stuck in there a bit.
So no, what I want to talk about is also the longevity of playing these games. Now, I like to play multiplayer versus for fun still. I kind of phase in and out of it. Occasionally I like to go back and play some Halo multiplayer or some Gears versus mode.
Where do you come from?
Yeah. And one of the reasons I like doing it is just for fun, just because I like playing it, like Doom's multiplayer. And sometimes
still moves. The gameplay's still so great on this.
It is, and sometimes I like to feel that sense of accomplishment that I'm getting better or that I'm aiming to do something. And in Titanfall 1, like I was going to say, with the achievements, all of the achievements in that game were set for multiplayer. So there was a huge range of things for you to sort of accomplish and do. And as you said earlier that I rinsed that game, I was only missing 1 or 2 achievements by the time I was done with it. This game's achievement listing is all single player. I believe that there is practically 1, maybe 2 multiplayer achievements, which is really disappointing, because it means that there is a huge player base, an audience base that are achievement hunters, and they like those difficult, challenging achievements, and you know, not necessarily for the multiplayer, but there is that what I would say will keep the longevity of a game is there being a challenge, a multiplayer achievement that you go for that keeps you playing, not for ridiculous amounts of time like say Gears of War would have you do, with a seriously achievement, but at least, you know, win certain game types or use certain loadouts. But those are just sort of mini challenges in this game which just unlock more customization options. So, you know, it depends what you're after with the multiplayer experience. But I gave up on Call of Duty quite a long time ago. And yeah, I got taken
same.
out there. But I still like to come back and play Titanfalls because I like my ground combat, and I like the fact that there is other things going on around me. I like the fact that there's Titans fighting. There's a variety of weapons.
You'll come out the doorway and stumble on like a couple of Titan fighting, and it's like, oh my god, yes, this. And then you get killed maybe because you're staring too long. It's like, right, respawn, go.
Feel to it, yeah.
This is the thing. It is hard to deny. Was that like a?
Yeah, it's like a
mini
Reaper,
boss?
isn't it?
Yeah.
It is hard to deny the fact that this game has massive amounts of cool, doesn't it? Really, the fact that it is walking robots, to a certain extent, it makes me just wish that Mech Warrior was still a thing, really. And that we were still getting like big editions of Mech Warrior coming out.
Well, I always say that I miss
Warrior
Chrome
Online,
Hounds.
but
There needs to be From Software, you know. Come on, Chrome Hounds too. Come on. But in my closing, I have to recommend this game. I play the multiplayer now. Obviously, I've finished with the single player. There's a couple of achievements that I will never get.
Nice.
I did manage to get them.
Good work.
Now I'm dead.
Surrounded,
There is one achievement in the game which, if you are an achievement collector, you must have nerves of steel, because it's one of those typical Call of Duty-esque timed runs where you have to complete a time trial in 1:30 seconds, which means you can't miss a shot. Every grenade needs to hit. And you need to be a wall-running, jumping.
Have you seen that guy who's done it in like 23, 24 seconds?
Yes, there are people that have just blitzed it. Now, that was one of the things that a lot of people said, that this game feels slower than Titanfall. And it's true. The developers did actually tweet out and say, yes, this game is slower than Titanfall. But you can build your momentum in this game and actually move, in my experience, faster than you did in Titanfall 1. The grappling hook is definitely great for getting your momentum to start with. But if you wall run and jump and wall run and jump and wall run and jump and keep going, your momentum will actually get even faster as you go. So long as you don't break your momentum,
bunny hop move as well.
You go super fast, and you'll go faster than you did in the previous game.
It's almost like
I saw that guy like teaching you how to bunny hop to catch the ground before you jump and stuff, and it's like it's insane. And like just seeing this guy shoot through these levels, I mean, it's insane.
You could be power sliding and
Yeah.
throwing grenades and getting headshots and then jumping back onto the next wall. So there is a lot to master, and obviously the more you learn the maps, the expert you'll become in multiplayer, because you'll know where you can go to wall run, to jump, to get to outmaneuver your enemies.
Yeah, you'll start learning those threat zones as well. You know, I don't know whether
Yeah.
what the heat map is yet, and I'm not used to the maps yet. I've not spent enough time with multiplayer to know where it's coming from. So yeah.
So, this game's been getting 8s, 9s out of 10 almost across the board. It's been universally praised.
I'd recommend it.
It has been sandwiched next to lots of AAA games, but it is the holiday season. You know, we've had Black Friday and Christmas is on its way, and then you have New Year's sales and digital
they're already
sales.
dealing
And
this game, you know.
yes,
And it's like, fair enough. Sell those copies because I want a third one.
yes, I'd like Titanfall to continue. Titanfall 3, definitely. More of the same, you know. Don't fix what's not broken.
Full
co-op
like
yes,
four-player
more mechs.
co-op
Yes.
sort of Gears campaign.
We just want to see mech warfare on an epic scale.
Yeah, that was one of the things about the campaign. It was a shame there was no more large-scale battleground.
There was
like
only
that
a few
fort attack.
moments. Yeah.
That was cool, and no matter, they did some great stuff with the campaign. I would recommend it. It was great, and they had some brilliant ideas. But yeah, I just wanted a few more scale battles. Would have been nice, you know, like waves. Well, not waves, but you know, a fair few Titans just going up against a line of other Titans. Obviously, the gameplay on that would be hard to balance, but they could have done more. Scaled ones like that. Yeah,
there's moments, but it's all up close and personal. There's not really, there's never really much ranged battle in this game. So Jeff.
Yeah, I really like it. I'm gonna get it. I recommend people should get it. It's a great game. It's really well made.
And support them for not doing that season.
It's mechs. It's super cool. I just wish it was a bit more like Mech Warrior in some respects, and how you had, like you say, bigger battles, and more options for like customizing your mech really and making it look differently. But other than that, this has got things that Mech Warrior never had that are also really cool, and I just love the maneuverability of it. So yeah, I as of yet have yet to get it, but I'm definitely sold on it. And just watching Gary play this, I'm like, yeah, this is badass. It's definitely a must-have.
It is. And as I said, they've got Horde mode to come. There's going to be extra game modes. I think the player base, as I've seen, is kind of gone up and gone down. And also, as the time of this video going out, it's going to be a double XP weekend this weekend for Titanfall. So,
Play me some Titanfall this weekend.
Get yourself on some Titanfall.
Wish they had Horde. We could have played that all weekend.
Yeah, well, more game modes to come in the new year. You know it's going to happen. I think this game, and even EA have gone out and said themselves that they're not worried about the lack of sales right now. And it's interesting that they addressed that it's not. They've not announced their digital sales. It's all physical disc sales, which everybody's reporting on. Which is an interesting of itself.
I would only be buying digital. I'm not going to be. I'll just buy it from Origin.
Yep.
And download it. Yeah, and then it'll be mine forever. I've still got life in the first one that I haven't got out of it yet, and I could happily play either of them.
I don't know if the player base is still alive for the original Titanfall, but
yeah, a few hundred or to a few thousand, depending on what time you're on Origin. Anyway,
that is good to know. That's good to know.
Nice.
So yeah, high praise for Titanfall 2.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Oh yeah.
I just want to say thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next Friday with another video game. Of course, film reviews on Thursdays. You can find us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Patreon. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time.
Take it easy.
Cheers.